Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're breaking down the foundational academic frameworks we actually use to tackle huge global environmental issues. Have you ever wondered how experts organize the incredibly complex fight against things like climate change, pollution, and resource depletion? Well, today, we're going to untangle that web of environmental academia and figure out exactly how we study the world around us.
Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We've got 1. Defining our world. 2. The multidisciplinary web. 3. Science versus studies. 4. The oil spill test. And finally, 5. Goals for a better planet.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Defining Our World.
Okay, so let's set our baseline. What do we actually mean when we throw around the word environment? I mean, we use it all the time, right? But academically speaking, at its absolute core, the environment is just the complete set of external surroundings that directly or indirectly affect a living organism.
And honestly, this is a brilliant way to look at it because it shows that the environment isn't just, nature. It includes literally all the circumstances, objects, and conditions surrounding us every single day. We kind of default to picturing pristine forests and vast oceans, but your environment? It's also the concrete buildings you walk through, the air quality in your specific city, and, even the social dynamics at your job.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, the multidisciplinary web.
To really wrap our heads around these super complex surroundings we just defined, we've got to look through multiple academic lenses. Let's clear up 2 terms you're going to see a lot. First up, multidisciplinary. This just means you have experts from different fields working side by side, but they're mostly sticking to their own isolated knowledge. Second, interdisciplinary. Now this goes a huge step further. It's deeply integrating the actual methods and knowledge from those different disciplines to form one cohesive understanding. It's like merging the puzzle pieces together rather than just laying them next to each other on a table.
And you can see that in action on this incredibly vibrant interdisciplinary wheel of environmental science. You've got your core hard sciences, right? Biology, chemistry, geology, oceanography. But they absolutely do not operate in a vacuum. They are seamlessly plugged into sociology, history, economics, political science, and even ethics. It literally takes this entire spectrum of human knowledge to make sense of our environment.
This interconnected web is what builds our understanding of how natural Earth systems and human populations interact. Think about it. Natural systems like the Earth and biological life are in this constant, dynamic push and pull with our rapidly growing populations. It's this exact intersection, those arrows you see pointing right to the middle, that drives the real-world issues we're facing today, from energy usage and pollution to massive changes in our land and water.
Moving right along to Section 3, Science versus Studies.
Okay, so we need to draw a really clear line in the sand between environmental science and environmental studies. The crucial takeaway here is that environmental studies takes the strict physical science and broadens the lens way out to include our societal place within that environment. So while environmental science is laser-focused on the mechanics of nature, environmental studies is the scientific study of our environment plus our specific, messy human place in it.
Because it has this much broader scope, environmental studies looks at how we actually manage and exist within our world day to day. It focuses heavily on how we conserve natural resources, how we put the brakes on environmental pollution, and how we sustain ecosystems and biodiversity, all through a human lens. Essentially, it's about figuring out how we can responsibly manage the very systems that keep us alive.
Let's put this into practice. Section 4, the oil spill test.
To really cement these definitions in our minds, let's play detective for a second with a real-world scenario. Imagine a massive oil spill occurs in the ocean. It is an incredibly complex, multi-layered disaster. When the alarm bells ring, which academic discipline tackles which specific set of problems?
First on the scene, you've got environmental science, acting as the physical investigator. These experts are asking highly quantitative, totally measurable questions, like exactly how much oil was spilled? Where is this plume going to go based on water currents and wind? How will it quantitatively damage the chemical, physical, and biological systems of that marine environment? They're the ones out there in the water measuring toxicity levels and mapping the physical spread of the mess.
But meanwhile, environmental studies is investigating the human fallout of that exact same spill. These professionals are looking at the economic and social impacts on, say, local fishing towns or coastal tourism. They're digging into what policies or regulations were in place that got completely ignored. And if there aren't any effective policies, well, they're the ones figuring out how to work with local governments to write new regulations so this doesn't happen again. It's the exact same crisis, tackled from 2 completely different but equally vital angles.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, Goals for a Better Planet.
Despite their totally different approaches, both fields actually share a unified ultimate purpose. They guide us through this really vital step-by-step evolution. You see, it all starts with just basic awareness of an issue. Then you acquire the hard knowledge of how that issue actually works. From there, it shapes our values and attitudes, helps us develop practical skills, and finally, and this is the big one, it culminates in taking meaningful action. Because honestly, you simply cannot take effective action without that foundational awareness and knowledge backing it up.
This entire toolkit we've been talking about exists to empower us to solve global issues. The ultimate aim here is finding real, tangible solutions to create a positive impact on human quality of life without threatening the natural resources we literally depend on to survive. We learn all this so we can actually tackle environmental challenges on a local, regional, and even international level.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder from today's explainer. Now that you know how all these frameworks operate, how will you step up and use them? With the awareness, knowledge, and skills we've unpacked today, how are you going to use this knowledge to create a more sustainable, healthier environment for generations to come? The tools and disciplines are all laid out right in front of us. Now it's entirely up to us to use them.